Hello, good evening, everybody. Hi, Peter.
Good day.
Ovin.
Welcome back, Peter.
Thank you.
Guys,
Steve, I just changed my shirt. Great day, huh?
Awesome. Right, guys, welcome to Investors Copy Time. Today is, sorry.
Great.
Okay, guys, if you can hear us and see us, just click yes so that you are able, so that we know that you are now able to hear us. All right, and welcome to Investors Copy Time. Today is on business matters, and we have Peter Wee, who was with us last Wednesday, right, to talk about angel investing. So he's back today, and he's gonna basically talk about how you can use design thinking in the process of being innovative. So later Peter will share with us. He has some slides prepared for us, and also he'll be looking at especially for businesses, right, and how you can innovate, especially in this time of crisis, right? So he's going to share with us what he does, especially because he has been partnered with he's been with many different companies, right? And now he's like a semi-retired or fully retired, Peter?
Semi.
Semi lah.
The other part's gardening. Yeah.
The other part's gardening. So most of the time you look for companies to go and invest in.
Yes, true.
All right. So guys, before we start, as usual, we're gonna go through some slides with you first, right? And first of all, we have our disclaimer. Whatever that's being discussed here is basically for educational purposes or informational purposes, right? It is not intended as any investment advice, although we may not be talking about investment advice today, right? But if you need investment advice, please do look for a professional and a licensed investment advisor. Okay, and for those who just joined us, please like us and follow our Facebook so that you can get notifications on our Facebook page whenever we go live, because we are live every day at 8 p.m. So even if you don't remember, every day at 8 p.m. we will have a live session, right? But please do like and follow us so that you can also share with your friends, right, about this session so that they too can enjoy and benefit from these sessions, right? And if you are on YouTube, please also subscribe to our YouTube Equity Tracker so that you too can get notifications from this page. All right. And if you just join us as well, we have been running these sessions 8 p.m. Since the MCO started, all right, and it's been almost like 3 months, or probably more than 3 months. I'm losing count of the days, right? And we are also giving out a free equity tracker platform where you are able to access a lot of tools, okay, for you to enable you to become a well-informed investor. All right, we have market screeners, we have filters, we have especially fundamental data where you can also do filters on this data to find the companies that you want to invest in based on your criteria, right? So please, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe and WhatsApp us at 603-8408-2070. All right. I'll make another announcement later on, because another announcement will be equally important, especially for those who have followed us and for those who have joined us as members. But now we're going to start first with Peter. All right. So Peter, thanks once again for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
Right, and I hope that you guys, especially if you have business or entrepreneur friends, please share the stream, or you can even launch a watch party right now on your Facebook so that they too is able to view today's session, and it's live. And you have any questions at all, please just ask the questions on the comment section, and then Peter will be able to look at your questions and answer them. All right. So Peter, what do you have for us today?
Okay, I'm going to share some before I launch the screen, share some of the thinking behind what is design thinking, and quite a few case study, because this is not a theory lesson, and it's a sharing, and then hopefully the listeners can better appreciate what this design thinking is all about. Yeah. So shall I share the screen,
Yeah,
gentlemen?
go ahead.
Yes, sure.
So Peter, is this maybe just a bit of brief? Is this meant to be for CEOs only or HR personnel or who is it for? Could someone who is say you're working for a company, could you also use design thinking?
Definitely, definitely. Because design thinking is normally used to solve problems, right? So we always solve problems. What I see in companies normally when they use it is that they'll get people from the customer-facing side. It could be one audience. The CEO must know and understand what design thinking is because it is a shift in mindset. Yeah, it needs a mindset change, like what Julius said last week. I think the listeners and I was listening in too, and that's why I said that, hey, maybe we could share the methodology of what is 3.0. I think he talked about management 3.0, and that's where the mindset would have to change. So I'm hoping that the sharing of quite a few case studies I put in, and I'll pepper with a lot of examples, and maybe during the Q&A you can ask, is that what type of thinking should permeate behind this. So it's no rocket science. Everybody can be creative. Yeah. So
Cool.
if I launch it, so we could start.
Yep. Have you you got to
Okay.
share your screen?
Yes, yes, I'll share now.
Yeah.
Okay, am on?
Yep.
Yeah,
Got it.
okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Peter Wee, and I think you met me 2 days ago. Some of you online. I'm a partner at Nexia. Nexia basically is early stage venture capital firm, but we
Hello.
I think we just lost Peter.
I think Peter got frozen.
Oh boy, hopefully you're able to get him back.
Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. I let me try and see if we can get Peter back on board. It seems that we've just lost him just as we just about to start. Let me see. Let me see if I can get him.
Yeah, well,
Give me
I'll try to get Peter on board. Welcome, guys, once again. Welcome, Lai Ting-Kwan, YK. Welcome, Kumara. Rao. Welcome, Lisa. Yes, and happy Friday to all. We hope that we're able to bring Peter as soon as possible. So you guys, if you have any questions at all, you can just right now, because we need to have Peter because he'll be doing most of the presentation today. All right. Okay, so since you guys are here, let me make this short announcement first, and I'll make the announcement later because this is very important. Now, the reason why we want to make this announcement, because recently there are quite a number of our members and those who have followed us have received messages from numbers that comes from China. All right, please note that I think these are all scammers. Okay, one of these this photo with a pretty girl right there, which probably may not be a pretty girl, maybe some dude at the back there, some hairy dude at the back there, right? But we do receive, I mean, even from our staff as well, they have received quite a number of messages. So please, right, this although they make reference to our equities tracker, whether it's on the online campus or whether it's on our Facebook, they do not represent us. I don't think so. These guys are actually following us as well. Now, one of the things is probably they got a number is when we add them in a Facebook, because some of us have our phone numbers in the Facebook. All right. So it is very important that we don't just accept. All right. For example, even we have run our copy time session, Alvin and I and most of our speakers, we have received quite a lot of requests, right, to add them on their Facebook. But you know what? If you do not know them, or if it's too good to be true like this, if some beautiful girl asks you to add you on the Facebook, maybe it is lah. So, please, they do not represent us, right? Like our communication comes from only this one number. I think you all are quite familiar with number, right? Which is 603-840-82070. That is from us, right? So those who actually send messages to you and claim to be representing Equities Tracker, they are not. All right. So it's from 603-840-82070. We only have one communication number. All right. So if you have any suspicion or any people who have added you suspiciously, and if you want to highlight to us, please contact us
It froze,
through
huh?
this number as well, 8408-2070, right, or 8408-1333, right, if you have got similar experience, all right, or you can also email us at hello@equitiestracker.com. Now we'll put this message on our Facebook, right, so the message for you to contact will be there on our Facebook in a short while. So in the meantime, please stay vigilant, because people will take advantage in this kind of settings, especially when there are a lot of people viewing live sessions. So please, if you have number on your Facebook, I suggest that you take out for your telephone number from your Facebook, because I don't have my telephone number on my Facebook as well. Because once you add them as your friend, then they'll be able to get your Facebook number, and they can, your telephone number, and of course they can message you with a Facebook Messenger, right? Once you have added them. So please be vigilant, so that you are able to avoid this kind of people, right? Like for example, this person here, is trying to add me on my Facebook, and I look at it, I don't think so she's real, right? If it's too good to be true, maybe it is. So please be vigilant. That's what we are saying. And remember that these people, when they message you, if they're asking, especially your private details, right? Private data is very important. Don't just give it to them. They do not represent Equities Tracker. All right. Okay, so is Peter back?
Yes, we got Peter back. He was actually speaking. He didn't realize he was logged off. So
I was on my favorite train, and I arrived in Singapore already. So which slide did I move on to?
yeah, we lost you at the first slide. Yeah.
Yeah, we just said the first one. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, maybe this slide is just to mention that problems exist all the time, but how do we look at it from a creative way? And I was just explaining to everyone that when I wanted to prepare this slide, this presentation, I said, how can I make my presentation a little bit different? So I interviewed 5 people, and I actually ran through some of the slides with quite a few of the slides with them, and look at their reaction and what's their emotion. One of the things they said was that, hey, if I got a question, I can only raise, but I might forget about it. So if you see in the bottom right hand corner, I have these 3 emojis called, the first one is I like this slide. Second one is, maybe I have a question, or I want to read more. The third one is like, hey, I got a question. Afterwards, I'm going to ask. Yeah. So I thought, how does it? So this actually came out from the users, right? So my audience, so to speak. So that's a quick sharing. So what is design thinking? Actually, it is a process that solves a complex problem by approaching it from the user's perspective. So the key point is the user perspective. When I was running companies, we were also guilty. I don't know how we grew double from 100 million to 200 million, but we always thought that we knew the best. We have got a nice technology, therefore it's good for everybody. Let's launch this. But actually, if you look at design thinking, it's looking at it from the user's perspective, talking to the user, looking at their reaction, interviewing them. It has been around since 1960s. Yeah, it's popularized by, of course, you all know this firm called IDEO. The IDEO consultancy started by the 2 brothers, Tom and David Kelly. This design thinking at the moment is being used in schools. Even I think one of my nephews, they are also using design thinking in schools. Already is permeated there. Of course, the big companies like Google, IBM, Microsoft. But it's not only just for the Fortune 500. It can be for you and me. Even I was quite hooked on it and I decided to learn more about it and apply it to a few cases. Yeah. So design thinking, IDEO is the big name. They are the ones who invented the mouse with Steve Jobs. And also, if you're on the top right hand corner, is the kids' toothbrush. Yeah, maybe if I got time, I'll share with you how they did the kids' toothbrush. So often when they say design thinking is solving a wicked problem because you don't know what the outcome would be. I will share with you a case study which we did in February at ET, and it had some surprising results, which we thought that wow, the mindset and also the process really works. So, like any problem, how do we get to innovation? It could be through observation, right? So maybe it's in a situation where we have an idea, or maybe we are faced with a problem, or we discover a need. So how do we do this? We must have that mindset, like almost like an anthropologist. Anthropologist, a person study of human behavior and human attitudes. Yeah. So by watching, yeah, it could be because we experience something like maybe we go to a department of a government entity and we are so frustrated. Like I wish I got a lot of ideas how they can improve, right? And the other one is it could be a deliberate one. On the right hand side, you will see that there was actually a study done by a car company. Yeah, they just watch users. So the key point for design thinking is what does the users feel? What is the emotions? What do they do? What makes them tick? Yeah. So therefore, if we look at innovation, sometimes I cringe because it's almost like an overused word, right? Everybody says innovation, innovation. My boss also says innovation. Everyone in the streets, you open the newspaper every day, they say you must innovate. Innovate. Yeah, I also like, wow, jaded already. But in its simplicity, right? I put there solving a problem which makes people's lives better, or creating a new product or solution which people need or want, right? If we look at the 4 examples I put, it could be a service or it could be a product, right? So Grab gave us a service. Yeah, they looked at like, wow, it's so difficult. Wow, to want to get taxi, the service is bad. You cannot contact, you get cheated, and so on and so forth. So they said, hey, how do we meet these users' needs? And then the simple thing, I was driving that day, I said, wow, one innovation, yeah, it's the handphone holder, right? It's also an innovation. So someone somewhere must have sat down and thought about this and, hey, what is the need? What's the difficulty which people have? Yeah. And of course, the big things would be innovation like airplane, right? If they're saying that if you ask Henry Ford, what Henry Ford said, I never ask people, because if I ask those people whether they need a car, they say, no, I need a faster horse carriage. Yeah. So like what Julius, we said last week, it's the mindset. We must have a 3.0 mindset, an inquisitive mindset. Down to the right hand, bottom right hand, you will see the traveler switch, the multi-traveler head, right? So someone must have done this innovation. We take for granted. We look around, so many innovation, right? So how do they solve this type of wicked problems? So design thinking seeks to say, hey, you know what? Everybody can be creative. You just follow this thinking and also this process, and hopefully you will get some new ideas. So this was popularized in Stanford University and also MIT. It says that when does innovation happen? So they draw these 3 rings. Yeah, they said that if you were to want to innovate, it must be something people desire. There must be a need from the people, right? Or maybe you create a need that they didn't know they needed it. Like Grab, I didn't know that we needed that service, but they created that. Just like Steve Jobs, he did the iPod and iPhone, but it was not a new technology. He cobbled them together and have a new thing, a new offering. So that was the people's desirability is very important, and it must be business viability, meaning that you must make money lah. Okay, you must make money, or that activity or the service or the product must be viable. And the other part, the bubble or the ring at the bottom right hand side, is the technically feasible. So can we do it within the constraints? So if you marry these three together, in the middle of it, they call it experience innovation. So the word experience is, we are all creatures of emotion, right? So like, wow, this is really good. This really meets my needs. Not somebody says, I've got this, and then you just do it, and we wonder why we don't get to sell. So that's the crux of the design thinking. They said, hey, let's focus on the user. Now, in design thinking, you will see that a lot of emphasis is put on the people side. But that doesn't mean that the business viability and technologically feasible is not important. It's just that that two quadrant of business viability and technology feasibility is all well crafted already. It's just that people don't focus enough on what people look for. Let me give you a few examples here. Now, before then, they have coined these 5 steps. It starts with empathy. This is actually done by the Stanford D School of Design Thinking. Yeah, different schools have got. At MIT, they only use 3 bubbles. Some you will see 7 bubbles. So here they look at empathize. You do interviews, you follow them, you seek to understand what is it that really they are looking for, what's their need. They may tell you certain things, but then you want to uncover their latent need, what they don't tell you, but just by watching. Yeah, and you need to be non-judgmental. Then we look at define. After looking at it, say, hey, these people have got, I think the need is this, and let's define who our customers are. Yeah, what are their roles? What decisions that need to be made? What are their challenges? What are their pain points? And after that, you will say, hey, now let's brainstorm and ideate. So they share ideas, and where we will come up with some ideas, and then we prototype, and of course we test. Okay, so these are the 5 things. So this is the only theory bit which we will cover, okay, in my slides, and I got quite a few examples behind here to emphasize how we do it. But again, it's a people-centric, human-centric solutions. Yeah, let's remember that. So when we say empathize, we uncover their needs and look for issues they may or may not be aware of. Okay, yeah, I think of terms in terms of guiding innovation efforts, and identify the right users to design for. So the reason why I showed this was one example for a car company earlier on I mentioned. It's a situation they said, hey, let's make the users experience better. The users experience better. So they had one team of people looking at how people drive, and one of it was at the petrol station. And they looked and said, hey, why does this car always reverse and go to the other side? You see, the old petrol gauge was the middle one, right? And then on the right-hand side, what is the difference apart from one is empty? Yeah.
Is that the arrow?
Yeah, the arrow. So the arrow, it was actually by watching why people reverse and then go to the other side. Once some people go, yeah, because they said, oh, they can't remember which side. Yeah. So this was by watching what people do. Yeah. So one quick case study which I would like to share is this. In America, I still got time, huh? In America, what happened was that this army general was saying that, hey, we have got an army camp over there, and we find that my soldiers always collapse because they get dehydrated. So in a conventional thinking, we will say, I asked him to go and drink water. It's so silly, right? Why don't you drink water, you know. So they asked the captain, hey, ask your guys to drink water. Ask the guys. Some of them don't want to drink, and then they'll collapse because of dehydration. So they said, can you do a study? So these guys actually went in and said, I want to live like you and experience what you're experiencing. So this guy actually put on and enrolled as a soldier for 2 weeks and to see how they live. So he lived like them, staying in the bunker and the bunk beds and so on and so forth, right? Then one day when he went into the woods with everybody, then he felt thirsty and he ran out of water, right? So one of the soldiers said, hey, you go to see that water buffalo. Yeah, water buffalo. So they will transport this little, you will see that truck. It's all water. And then when he filled his water bottle, and then when he drank it, now he understands why the people didn't want to drink it. Because this water buffalo is in the middle of the jungle, right? So what happened is that the water needs to be clean. So what happened is that the army people, they put a lot of chlorine into the water buffalo. So whenever you ask them to drink the water, they say, not in heaven's name. Until really thorough, only I'll drink. So what was uncovered by this is this guy went into the shoes of the army people. And after that, he managed to find out the solution. So the solution was a little backpack which has got a little thing. Then they can put their favorite juice, whether it's orange juice or apple juice flavoring in there. So they just squirt it in like that. So this hopes it brings out a little bit into how we need to empathize, to understand. So the best way is to observe and to live like them. So I have got this slide, which I will answer or show you the results of it at the end of this slide pack. Yeah? This was a very touching story in relation to this guy called Doug Dietz. He still is in General Electric GE. So he was the inventor of this. As you know, what is this? This is a terrifying machine, right? The MRI. Okay. So he was standing there and he just invented this. He was so happy. Then came a little girl with the mom and the dad taking her. She was terrified. She was terrified, crying, and he was standing behind, looking at the father, mother, bending down to the daughter and say, dear, we've gone through this. You got to be brave, right? Actually, the exercise was actually done. The hospital asked them to come and look at why 90% of the kids had to be sedated, yeah, causing a big backlog, yeah, and of course anxiety of going to the hospital, yeah. So what Doug went was, hey, can we find a solution to this? How can we make this experience better for the parents and also for the kid? Because this is a terrifying machine. What happened is that these kids had to be sedated because they were moving. So the moment you move, the MRI cannot take the picture, right? So they had to sedate the kids. So because they sedate the kids, it will take 2 hours for one kid. So I will show you the amazing transformation from this. Yeah. So this is the MRI machine. We did a workshop in February at ET. Well, we did this case study with 22 consultants, both from ET and also 10 other companies. It was for a famous quick serving restaurant chain. Yeah, we sell fried chicken. No names mentioned. So the problem statement was, this is a mock thing. Like what we wanted to show that everybody can be creative. We wanted to show that what are the techniques which are being used. So the question was, the customer would say, I want to be the best at customer service. They're great, So the mandate of saying, hey, you guys are consultants, please give me suggestions on how to be number one for customer satisfaction. It was over 2 days. So off we went. The consultants were hard at work. Okay. So we said, hey, empathize, right? So what do we do? So we say, hey, better interview the customers at the touch points. So we look at touch points. Where is this QSR company outlet? The touch points is definitely at the outlet itself. This was before MCO, right? February. And the other one was online. So what we did was the one team went out to do observation. We say, who are the clients? Just observe them. What type of is a family with kids, mother with school children, and people, office workers, and all that. So they actually went about close to lunchtime, before lunch and lunchtime. So they sat down and just watched, and they interviewed the parents. They interviewed the office workers, and they interviewed the servers as well, the office managers as well, the KFC manager in this case. So what they did was they also did order in store and did takeaways as well, and they did one-to-one to know the background. Yeah. So when they interviewed the customers, it was quite interesting. But those who had to use the website or app also did the same thing. They ordered online. We had one-to-one interviews and self-collect, and the other one was get a delivery. So a scooter came and deliver. So we asked ourselves, do we need to redefine the scope? So in this case, no, we was quite clear, right? So we wanted to find the compelling needs and insights, what they don't tell you. Yeah, normally we will tell you what you want to hear, or if something's very obvious. So we want to see by how they act. Yeah? So let me see if I can draw out that. So some of the selected findings was that some people said, I'm not able to sit together as a family or colleagues during rush hour. So because what they did was they saw some people wanted to go in and say, mungkin tak ada tempat lah. So they walk away because they had 5 people. Same as the family. So they decided to take away. But they said they liked the dining experience, right? Then the second point is the queue seemed quite long at the store. But sometimes you begin to say, actually, it's not very long, but it seemed long. Okay? And the third one, the delivery package, when we did that, was soggy. Okay? This was when the scooters came. The pack was soggy. The packing material could not last the delivery journey. You saw paper, and by the time you get it was soggy. And then the expectations, the fourth one, expectations were managed in terms of timing, but too long and the food soggy and was thrown about. So the food was thrown about everywhere, right? Because it was on a scooter. And lastly, the last mile delivery was not door to door, not at least for ET people. Yeah, so it was not to door to door. So when we looked at that, we said, how do we ideate? So we did brainstorming, and it was non-judgmental, meaning that nobody's idea is a stupid idea, and don't ever say that, oh, we did this, it does not work. If anyone has said that, then we ask, how can we improve this idea? Okay, so we had a lot of post-it notes, stick-on notes, discussion, and a lot of mapping. So that's the ideate side. Oh, sorry. Then we did prototyping. So we wanted many ideas. So they had got 30 over ideas. We compressed it down, and we said, okay, let's do 5 ideas for each team. So there were quite a lot of ideas, and these were quick and dirty, low resolution ideas. Yeah. So we were drawing on piece of paper, and we were using Lego and all that stuff. Yeah, to come up with ideas in 2 hours. Yeah, 5 ideas and do a low resolution one. So we had close to 8 or 9 ideas. Yeah, so that was the prototyping. Do it fast. You want a good idea, they say start with many ideas. So that was what we were doing. Then we should test it, but because there was no real store manager or CEO of that company, so we couldn't test. But what was the solution that team uncovered? So we said, hey, maybe we have self-order kiosk for the line. Then we had reservation style restaurant section. Like, why? Because some people want that, so we can ring fence. So this is by no means the best idea or the right idea because we haven't tested with the management, right? And then they all said, hey, the queue seems very long. They said, oh, how do we cut that perception of a long queue? They said, show Mr. Bean, show in the queue. Yeah, so that they will can't remember that the queue is very long. And then maybe get new material for the takeaway. And then the other one we found out was why it was soggy was because whilst we were in PJ, that takeaway actually came from Puchong. It was not the most logical one, right? And then the last one is the delivery for SOP, because we had to actually come down the building to go and get the chicken, so to speak. So from just observation, brainstorming, we got quite a few selected answers or suggestions to the management if we were commissioned as that. Okay, so now, like what Julia said, that it must be the mindset. We talked last week about whether AirAsia, I think one of the listeners had rightly asked, is AirAsia a management 3.0? Yes, most likely, because they are more open in their mindset, right? So in design thinking, we need to have a shift in mindset. So everybody must think like an anthropologist. When we go for holidays, right? Let's say we go to Thailand or wherever, we are so aware, right? We say, hey, look, the signboard like that one, the signboard yellow color one, in Malaysia is blue. So we must keep an open mind. Yeah. So from that exercise itself, from that workshop, they had a self-discovery like, hey, you know what? I'm not that bad I'm not that not uncreative. I'm quite creative, Yeah. And it helped innovation in the company. And the thing about it is that if we had got 2 in the company, but imagine if we had got 10 coaches who are good at design thinking, it will really help the tone and innovation in the company. Yeah. So the third one is that they said, hey, you know what? It can help solve issues with a lot of practice. And the fourth one is that it can be learned. We have to change our mindset. For me, I always try to say, hey, how do we improve on this? Wow, why do they do this? Why is it that they do it this way? Yeah. So we need to think like that now. Okay. They now, what the big takeaway is that they will say they will always think of how customers think. Yeah. So that is the takeaway from this. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to share with you the story of dark deeds in the GE story, right? Look at the left-hand side. This was how the MRI machine worked, right? But in the end, look at what happened. They redesigned it like a pirate ship, right? So they actually interviewed the kids, got a museum curator come in and artists and a multidisciplinary, and they made this like an adventure. The bottom one is like a submarine. So they will tell the kids, you know what? You better stay still, because when the thing starts moving, that means the spaceship is going in or the ship is going into that thing. Stay really still. And you know what? The kids had a 95% success rate in terms of this. They didn't need to be sedated. And the most touching one was that when Dark Deeds was there, one little girl came up to the mother. He was talking to the mother and pulled the mother's say, hey, mommy, can we come back tomorrow? Yeah. So that is the transformation from the left-hand side, evil-looking and MRI machine, into wow, spaceship. And then they will have, even the guy announcing that the things, he would say, spaceship going to blast off or whatever it is. Right? So what I wanted to share was the success of this, the result of using the design thinking. Yeah. So I would like to end by saying that not everything that is ventured succeeds, but everything that succeeds was once dead. So because we have got a lot of ideas, yeah. So this is what I thought I wanted to share. This is the methodology, the 5 steps that I've gone through. Yeah. So I think that is the formal side. Benny, just 1 minute, 30 seconds. Underneath, I just want to show you what I did to try and make this presentation a bit different. So I use a mind map. I check how do I differentiated great presentation. So I try to move out and see what are the things I could do. I wanted to give our listeners some fun stuff. So download the slides and go through it. If you got any question, you ask me. Yeah. And this one, last one. Okay, I'll make sure I don't scroll too fast. This is see your ideas. How fast can you do ideas? You see the 30 circles here? What you need to do is draw something which will make what can you draw in the circle to make it come alive? Yeah. In 3 minutes, can you do 30 or not? The last slide is some of the samples, so you're not allowed to see until you do this or even get your kids to do this. Yeah. Okay, that's my sharing.
So actually the circles is like drawing an orange or drawing a globe. That kind of, right?
You can draw a clock. The second one, the first is basketball, right? The second one is clock. Yeah, your people did it, so you are not allowed to ask them.
Okay, I haven't done it yet, so
It's a 30 circle exercise. Yeah.
All right,
That's
awesome.
almost like.
Okay, while we let Peter take a breather to start answering questions, I'll make some announcements for a while. So, guys, if you want to have Peter's slides, all right, please do WhatsApp us at that number that we shown you earlier, right? So, this is the number 603-840-82070. Right, just say hi on a WhatsApp, and yes, this is a WhatsAppable number, right? So WhatsApp us, say hi, and then choose English freebies, and just scroll down at the bottom to get the slides of today. It's called Design Thinking by Peter Wee. All right. So hopefully that you are able to download the slide and do the exercises that Peter has suggested. Right. And if you have any questions about that, you can contact Peter, and we'll share with you later how you can get in touch with Peter in a short while. All right. So for those who have not used our Equity Striker platform before, now this is a good time for you to have a free 2 weeks access to our Equity Striker platform, where you are able to find financial data of companies or listed companies for you to make well-informed investment decisions, right? We have many tools in there we call apps. We have like market screeners based on fundamentals and also technicals. We have the portfolio in there for you to use and manage your portfolio. And we even have model portfolios for you to follow if you do not know where to start, right? So it is all available on this Equity Striker platform. So you want to give it a try, this WhatsApp us at the same number as well, right? 603-840-82070. All right. So one more important announcement I have to make is that, recently we have also got some feedback or contact from our subscribers, and also for those who have followed us on our Facebook, and also whether it's on EP Online Campus or our Facebook page. There are unidentified people who tried to contact them, and most of them have are from China, because the numbers are all from China, right? And we'll be wondering how they can get our phone number, because they probably look at your Facebook, but bear in mind, some of you probably keep your telephone number, your mobile number on your Facebook, and I suggest you do not do that, because myself, I don't really keep my phone number in my Facebook, because once you add these guys on your Facebook, they can see your contact number, right? If you allow that, right? But most of us will not be aware, right? So please be very vigilant, right? Because these people, they claim to have met you in our Equity Striker platform, whether it's on our Facebook or our ET Online Campus and so on. But they are just basically using Equity Striker's name, right? And they do not represent Equity Striker. So in fact, if someone says that they represent Equity Striker, the only official number can only come from this same number, 603-840-82070. Unless if you personally know any one of us in Equity Striker, then our number is our number, right? But any other number than 840-82070, that is probably not from us, right? So be careful with those who are trying to contact you, especially those who try to add you on your Facebook, right? Because myself, and I think Alvin and the others as well, especially when we start running this Copy Time session since the MCO, we have received quite a number of requests, all right? So whenever you see a Langloy or some pretty girl try to go and ask you to be your friend, be careful, right? Or I've also heard from my colleague in equities tracker that for women, they normally they normally introduce themselves as doctors or engineers, right? Just to impress you guys. So please be very vigilant. And this is one of the pictures. This is one of the quite active one who has been going around trying to contact all of those who are in our platform, right? So be very careful. And yeah, and in fact, they will try to contact you through WhatsApp as well if your number is in your Facebook. So please be careful of that. I think the first thing you need to do is to check whether your telephone number is on Facebook. All right. So be vigilant. If it's too good to be true, that it probably is, right? So like for example, one of these photo has been trying to contact me and try to request my Facebook. When I see this kind of pictures, with just probably the Facebook created a few days ago, I will just delete it lah. All right. So guys, remember our only communication number that we communicate with you is this number, all right? At 603-8408-2070. All
I
right.
think there's one 1333 as well, right, Benny? 8408.
Yeah. If you need to contact us, I mean, if you have you have this similar experience and you want to file a report, or if you have received any suspicious text or messages, you want to report to us, please do report to us, because we want to know who these numbers are, so that we too can make a report on Facebook. All right. You can contact us at 603-8408-2070, and the other number that we have for backup is 8408-1333. All right. So if you receive these two numbers, then you know it's from us. Any other than these two numbers, then they do not represent equities tracker. All right. We will post this on our Facebook, so you get to see the information there, lah. All right. Maybe in a short while, because we only received quite a number of reports today, in fact. All right. Okay, so let's get back to Peter. Are you ready for questions?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe I'll start out with the first one. I think it was very early on when it's kind of wiped out from my thing. Peter, are you an entrepreneur / investor / retired? Do you wanna? Because we missed out the introduction bit and then you got cut off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
I-
I do quite a bit of investments and working with the startups, and also working with companies where we will try to link those companies with the startups and to immerse companies into startups as well. So that is something which I think is very, very important. On entrepreneur, I mean, in that sense, yes, we got this consulting practice, and I do quite a bit of consulting for a couple of other companies, also to try to transform their business model. Yeah, like they say, in terms of crisis is innovation's best friend. Well, I'm not sure how to coin that, but yeah, and I do some other consulting side, because I was from PwC, so I do a couple of small things. Yeah, but mainly is to help companies to innovate in that sense. And design thinking, I feel, is very powerful. That's why I felt that something I need to share. My goal, Alvin, is to impact 10,000 people with design thinking. So,
All right.
thank you.
Cool.
And guys, you have any questions, you can ask us questions right now. Alvin, if you don't have any question from your side, I'll have one question. I have one question here actually.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna show it to the audience as well. So we have Agnes Wong here asking you mentioned about the 5-step process, right, Peter? It ends with testing, but how about implementation?
After the testing is a quick and dirty one, where you have got low resolution, say for example 10, but then it's up to the management to say, because of maybe budget constraints or maybe technological constraints, then you will get to implement, but maybe 3 out of that. Yeah. So of course, after the testing is the implementation side now. Yeah. But the important thing is about this design thinking is that once you see that 5 bubbles, right, it can go back and forth, right? Because for example, test and it can go back into prototype, and then prototype. No, I think we need to redefine it. So it can go a lot of ways, in that sense. Yeah, but implementation, yes, you need to implement it, because at the end of the day, your boss ask you, hey, what's going on? Yeah. But you need to test with the market, test with the users. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Peter. Let me see. We have because there are quite a number of comments over here. I'm trying to find these questions. Let me see.
Actually, I think there was one question regarding getting Peter to come to ET. We're just curious how many viewers out there are interested to have a of course with guidelines, safety guidelines, of actually attending a workshop like Peter's where we talk about design thinking for your organization. So if you're CEO, you're in HR, or you think your company needs a culture of maybe overused word innovation, right? We're just sending out feelers out there. I know Peter's a busy man, so sometimes he does it. So we're just getting some feelers of those who might be interested to maybe run it for your organization or maybe for yourself. We're just gonna share a link below, and if you're interested, just click on the link. You can also download Peter's slides here. Yeah, so just click on the link below. Just give us your contact details, and then we'll set one up. I know two of my team members have gone in, and it was a very different, sort of my team members. I didn't get to go, so I definitely want to do this 2-day thing as well. Because I think it's very important, not just for CEOs, but really trying to get the whole team culture involved. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so there's a question here again from Chong Lisa, right? It says that design thinking sounds similar to Six Sigma. Are you familiar with Six Sigma?
A little bit, but the thing about it is that there are various shades. Okay, it's almost like if I just jot down things like lean, agile, right? Agile, lean, and design thinking. Also Six Sigma. Six Sigma is quite similar, as I understand it. I don't know it enough because people like GE have used Six Sigma quite extensively. Yeah, I guess that's one of the other. I wouldn't like to use methodologies. I would like to use this as a mindset thing. Yeah, I don't know enough about Six Sigma.
Yeah. Because it seems like a very powerful. I mean, it seems so it's so simplistic. Yeah. But I guess the big challenge is how do you get that culture in your organization to have design thinking and really put yourself at the customer's shoes, because I think this will go a very long way, right?
There is a famous American poet, a lady called Mary Lathlap. They say that before you judge a man, because a man is always being judged, probably she's a lady. Say that before you judge a man, walk a mile in his shoes, because that's where the empathy bit is. It's very powerful. I mean, if for you to get your whole organization to be immersed, if you look at the large US organization and even some in the Malaysian entities, like say for example IBM Malaysia, what they do is that they say, hey, we need design thinking, and what we do is we put 5 or 6 of you first, and then they'll just cascade it down. Because cultural change is not like, oh, tomorrow I've gone to design thinking, tomorrow, like, where's the ideas, bro? It won't happen like that. But can you imagine if 2 of your staff were thinking like, wow, let's think of the customer first, and imagine if 100 of us think like that. Yeah, so it was a powerful thing. Yeah, and it's the mindset shift, I think, for those 22 people who went through it. I saw the testimony. It's really powerful. And the answers which came out, I also didn't know, but they actually observed. By observing and asking and say, what's your background, auntie? Oh, I'm a very busy lady. I want a quick one, but I don't want to be washing my plates at home. I want to sit, but I cannot sit here. But okay lah, I will take away lah. Or some of them said no, but just a power observation. I mean, I just want to share with you. One day I was on the highway. I was looking at why. This is not the first time I see why cars always reverse, on the highway, because they miss the turning, right? So
only in Malaysia.
Only in Malaysia. That's right. You know why? okay, they should have used Waze lah. Huh? Silly you should use the Waze, right? But actually, when I look and look and look, then I asked my cousin, because one day my cousin was in front. And I said, why do you reverse? He said, because in Malaysia, your signboard is after the junction. Your signboard is after the junction. So what's the solution? So easy, right? So I give you one example. It's important to observe your clients, your customers. Is this, one example, I showed you the toothbrush, right? So when Procter & Gamble said, hey, let's design a toothbrush for the kids. So this is the adult toothbrush, right? I'm holding like that and just brush it. So easy, right? So if you want for a kid, a 5-year-old kid, just shorten it now. It's okay, ma. He can easier, right? They asked the CEO, you come and see. So they went to 5 or 6 houses and watched the 5-year-old use how they use toothbrush and how they brush their teeth. And they gave them a small toothbrush. It just didn't work. That is why you see all the toothbrush now is the fat one, right? Because when the kid uses it, his motor skills is not as good, So he begins to use it like that. It's almost like hitting into the gum. And he was using this because he's not agile enough to do that. So that's where, by observation. But if you ask the kid, he won't know what he wants, or the parents, right? So you really need to watch, because sometimes the definition of the problem is different once you see it. Yeah. So there's so many other examples which I can share. Yeah. So it's a mindset. Can I say a few more words?
Sure.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Because when I talk to our clients, when they always say, "Oh, I'm not creative," I'm not creative, because the study at MIT, they said that everybody is born creative one. You ask the kindergarten kids, "Hey, who's creative?" Everybody, yeah, it's me, right? But when they reach standard 3, standard 4, what happened? Only they said about 15 or 16% only said that they are creative. Why? Because along the way, some friend will say, "Hey, you draw a picture of a tiger. Wow, like that. Well, it's so funny." So you become aware of it. So they call it that you become self-conscious. First of all, our system does not reward failure. Secondly, it does not. We become very self-conscious. So once the teacher said, "Oh, you are not so creative," or your friend said, "Oh, you cannot draw," they said, "Therefore, I'm not creative." But if you go through this design thinking, right, you have got to have this mindset change. Say, yes, we have got what's your idea? What's your idea? Benny, what's your idea? Alvin, what's your idea? I don't say, "Oh, Alvin, this one cannot work one lah." Don't say that, but how can we make your idea better? So it's building on the idea. It's just like a peer group, support group lah. Everyone is encouraging. Yeah, let's do this. We are in this together. Can you imagine how powerful it is? Say, for example, before you go for a big meeting, you have got I ask ET listeners, hey, any ideas on how to make this presentation a bit better? Can put in. Can you imagine how many, if there's 200, 300 people, they put in? Definitely, I can find some good ideas, right? So from that 300 ideas, we compress it down to maybe, I don't know, a fraction, and then let's work on this. And then we test again. Hey, you think this idea is good? Yeah. Do you think that putting the emoji underneath is good? Some yes, some no, but let's test it. So if you want to do something new, always call it a prototype, right? If it fails, then it's a prototype, it's an experiment. So if you look at all those big companies which have done innovation, they have always cascaded it down. So the boss of the company, like what Julius Wee says, but it's not related to me, I checked. Last week, he says that the boss must give the buy-in. Can you imagine if you say, go do innovation, you did this half-baked, die lah. But if you bring up 3 prototypes, say, hey, okay, let's see which one is better. Then the tone is different, right? So you get your people to come up with ideas, but you must support now. But if you say, hey, come on lah, this one doesn't work, but how do you make it work? So the immersion of the culture is a slow process, but it can start with small projects. in design thinking, they have got this thing called the journey map. Let's say I want to go to hospital, right? It starts with, oh, I don't feel well. Then I will look up in internet, and then I make a decision and walk all the way, right? Actually, if you look at it, the whole sequence of the steps, there are many steps in there that you can innovate in. Say, for example, I want to go to SJMC or KP Damansara Specialist Center.
Yep.
Well, you know what's the worst thing? Cannot find car park, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if I am KPJ, I say, how do we improve the customer's journey when they come and see us? Great, right? So, and in hospitals, what they've seen is that it's bad enough the guy comes in, he's not well, right? So anxiety, huge anxiety, like the girl. But they call this journeying. That means I tell you, after this, after you check in already, then you got this, and then after you put your credit card, then the doctor will come and see you, and so you feel like rather than after that, don't know how long and wait. After that, you can take the blood already, and after this, sit down, then don't know what's happening. So they call that journeying. So a lot of hospitals are now doing that. Even you see some hospitals having red line, green line, blue line, so that people would know which one to follow, rather than, ask this nurse, ask that nurse. So it's again by observing. If you sit down there and watch, I'm sure a friend of mine was telling me, hey, I think we got a lot of things to innovate, especially in the government department, because sometimes you wait. Right? So these are the things. But it's the cultural immersion is important.
Yeah, so you talk about the culture. I mean, the culture of the company itself, right? I mean, the bosses have to be involved, the management have to be involved. I mean, when we talk about design thinking, I mean, let's say you come up with a workshop with design thinking, the boss will probably think, I think I just send my marketing guys or my design guys to go and attend the workshop, right? But without involving the others, do you think this will work?
There are two ways. Of course, it's always the best if the boss comes. In some experience that one of our consultants has seen is that the boss comes in when he says, "Oh, it's time to have brainstorming." The guy suddenly have got an important phone call. Yeah. Oh, I got to make an important phone call. Sometimes they said, "Hey, I don't know about this, but let my guys do it." But yeah, the buy-in must be there. Yeah, the buy-in. So either implicitly, or he himself or she herself comes and experience it. This is, I could do a 50-point slide with all words, but this is all very experiential in that sense. Yeah, those who came out of that felt very cathartic. Like, wow, I didn't know we could do this. So if they can do it, everybody can do it. But it's a mindset. So I hope that everyone look at something and see, how do we improve this? I mean, one example is that I was using the microwave, right? And my father-in-law, my mother-in-law rather, was using the microwave, but it was not built for the aged people. She cannot see the numbers, and the knobs were too small, the writing. So if we were to say, hey, how do we redesign this microwave for an aged person? Or how do I design a microwave for a 7-year-old? It's a different thing, right? Maybe you may put, Hello Kitty or, things like that. Now, so it's observing that. So a lot of innovations actually come out from that observation.
Right. Okay, we've got time for one last question. I think we have just one question just came in.
Okay.
There's a question here by Stephen Chia, right? He says that, is results monitoring or measurement of outcome part of the design thinking process?
Yes, because if you look at thanks Stephen for this question. It's because you remember that 3 bubbles, right? We will have people centric and all that stuff. At the end of the day, we are all accountable to somebody, right? So therefore, the results monitoring and measurement is also important, because at the end of the day, you want to generate something, especially if you are in a business or running a business. but the KPIs are different. It's not like, oh, within the next 2 weeks, let me see a merchantable or a marketable thing. So sometimes they look at different KPIs. Yeah, like how many ideas did you all come out with, and did we progress 3 into the next stage, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Alvin, do you have any questions some more that you found?
No, I think that's it. It was
All right.
very insightful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So guys, if you're interested in seeing Peter again, he can design a workshop for you guys. But he needs to know how many of you guys are interested. So please do click on the link which is on your screen right now, or on the comment section is being pinned there. So just fill up the form so that we will know how many people who are interested to take a step further from what we discussed today. All right. So please fill out the form, and it's a very simple form, and then Peter will get in touch with you guys. All right.
Remember to do that test, not test, the exercise on the circle one.
Yeah. Don't forget, you can download it via WhatsApp number at 603-840-8070.
Yeah, and Peter's slides is also available there. So please do download them and answer those questions, and please click on the link to get for us to know whether you'd be interested to attend Peter Sweet's design thinking workshop online, right? It's online right now, still not yet face to face, right?
We want to design one as well, yeah. But face to face is always more effective, I feel. Yeah.
Okay, so one more announcement, guys. Tomorrow we actually have our first session, on a series of educational workshops. All right, this is brought to you by Bursa Malaysia. So we're going to have every Saturday, we're going to dedicate 1.5 hours. It's not 1 hour, from 8 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. So this is going to be totally on about education, about learning. All right. So the subject of investing, trading, using value investing, price chart, and so on. So we have 10 sessions coming ahead. All right. So please share this with your friends. All right, it is already on our events page. You can go to our events page on our Facebook page to get notification. Just click going, or just click you're interested, so that you will get notifications. And please help us to share this as many to your friends as possible, so that they too can enjoy this journey. All right, so it's going to start this Saturday, and the title is going to be about stock investing, a subject that schools don't teach. All right. So and if you have any teenage friends, or young working adults, or even someone who's interested in investing, please ask them to join, because this is a subject where schools don't teach, and we basically going to share with you. We means Alvin and I will be on tomorrow from 8 to 9:30 p.m. All right. Show you what it takes, right? What information you need to become a well-informed investor. All right. So please join us tomorrow at 8 to 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, I've got a brand new material that will be quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, in fact, most of the things are going to be on the Saturday's educational workshop by Bursa Malaysia is educational. There are quite a number of new materials, which the reason why we do not put on copy time, because we want to focus on these sessions. All right, so please do attend these sessions. All right. Okay, so guys, thank you, Peter. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully, we can see you some other time again for a different subject altogether. And it's great to have you here.
Thank you again, Peter. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Yeah.
Thanks everyone for watching.
All right. Yes, and for those who are watching us on